Welcome to part 2 of returning humanity's inheritance to them. Their inheritance, their value. I've got a lot to go over with y'all guys on this part 2. If you have not seen part 1, it would be best to go to see part 1, which is on my channel, Idaho Picker Reloaded, and possibly on my channel, Logic Before Authority, part 1 of returning humanity's inheritance to them. Now, the reason why I had left off with talking about 1871, the British Crown, and so on, talking about British, is because there are approximately, as I've said, there are 7 funds out there that hold the wealth of humanity from the past centuries. They hold this wealth in vaults, in caves, in secure locations because they want to keep it from us. They want to keep us living poorly. They want to keep us just being able to make it. The high majority of us, I'm sure that everyone or almost everyone listening to this video can relate to that. But what you need to understand as we're moving forward into this is that the crown, the British Crown, the elites, you might call them, and also saying that all of these funds are what you would call the elites, the people that hold these values, hold these inheritances in trust. It's a nice word for what's going on, but the British believe that they are something called the Red Dragons. In Britain and in England, you will see something that looks like this in many places as you're entering cities. Okay? And they believe they are the Red Dragons, an elite society of mixed DNA from prehistorical beings that were on our planet at a previous time. And I understand that if you're new to this information, it is quite shocking, but I encourage you to bear with me and listen to all the information and understand at least what I have to show you. As I've said, there are a number of these elite societies that have held this wealth in trust, you might say. There's also another group that I will show you here. There is a group that, from my research, it appears originated out of Japan. However, it exists in Japan. It's Japan, Indonesia, parts of Korea, parts of China even. They're called the White Dragon Society or the White Dragon Warrior Society. And they are a couple of things, or many things, but I will share a couple with you here. One is that they are a Kung Fu Tai Chi Kempo organization, a martial arts organization. And they believe, and they say when you do research on them, that they are the protectors of humanity. They also play another role as well. They are one of the elite groups that hold wealth, or at least are part of the group that holds the wealth to the White Spiritual Boy Fund or inheritance. They have come forth and they have said that they want to return this value to the people. Some of you will have seen the stories of Neil Keenan and Benjamin Fulford discussing the attempt to cash historical U.S. Federal Reserve bonds that are in the trillions, maybe even quadrillions of dollars, or as they would be cashed into U.S. dollars. You may have seen the stories of the attempts to cash some of these bonds over the last few years, where the people who were attempting it were either robbed, killed, various things like that. This is a portion of the value that's being discussed, a rather small portion. There's another aspect. You may have heard the stories of King Solomon's gold and where it went, the enormous amount of gold and antiquities that existed and where it went. Well, this is another aspect of the value that is trying to be returned to the people via the White Spiritual Boy, via the White Dragon Society, via the OPPT group, via the Swissendo group, via the OMD group. These groups are many people, many organizations working together to try to return the value that has been kept from the people, keeping us poor, keeping us nearly enslaved, and many of us fully enslaved. This has been going on behind the scenes now for 40 years plus, where they have been trying to figure out a way to make this happen. However, you're not going to hear about it because most of you are too busy watching CBS News, Fox News, CNN. They're keeping your mind occupied with television shows, American Idol, everything that can distract your mind from being able to focus on what is actually happening or what is being attempted to make happen. And they put up events, make events happen, like the Aurora, Colorado theater shooting that was a false flag put on event, a crisisactor.org put on event by our own government and controlled media in order to distract us and keep our minds busy with nonsense. Events such as the Boston Marathon false flag bombing that has been exposed. With a little research, you can find this out for yourself. Exposed right on the internet, right here on YouTube, or I don't know where you'll be seeing this video from, but the information is widely available, and you can find out, look at it, and make your own decision. I'm just here to bring you what is going on. Events such as Sandy Hook. If you're not familiar with what that was all about, well, it's all about several things, along with many other events that have taken place. It's all about keeping your mind occupied with some drama, keeping my mind as a journalist occupied with some drama, to keep your mind away from what is some of the really big events that are actually taking place, such as the attempt to bring your value back to you, to take down the existing Federal Reserve System, to take down the world banking system and repurpose it to provide an actual service to humanity and not a detriment and the robbing and the enslavement of humanity. They use all types of events to keep your mind distracted from what is actually taking place, such as the propane plant explosion in Florida. They smash it and smear it all over mainstream news to give your mind something to do instead of paying attention to the potential world war events that are taking place and the potential returning of your value, returning of your inheritance from at least one of the 7 holders of these trusts. Events such as the Texas fertilizer plant explosion that looks like a nuclear explosion almost, and it was a very large explosion, just thankfully not the kind that has radiation. But these events are used to occupy your mind, to keep you from realizing that you have been enslaved with a corporate system, not just in the United States, but around the world, and that your United States has a DUNS number, a Duns and Bradstreet number, which signifies a corporation. The U.S. Department of Defense has a DUNS number, which is a for-profit corporation. Same with the U.S. Treasury, U.S. Department of Justice. In the U.S. Department of Justice, they use a system to enslave you as well. It's called the prison bonds and surety bonds and performance bonds system. But now the time has come for me to at least do my part and expose to you what is being proposed and what is taking place and how it will affect you if we are able to make this happen. You're looking at a document that less than 1,000 people around the world actually have in their possession. It's a document that explains the people that are involved in the release of your inheritance back to you. And I'll go through some of this with you and try to explain it in the last 5 minutes we have. The Big Top Royal, the KU 681 King of Kings, the M1 Neo, the United Kingdom of Sky Earth, Swissendo World Trust, International Orbit, the Bullion Bank, OPPT, which is the One People's Public Trust, which are the people who were filed the UCC filings to declare bankruptcy and foreclosure on the U.S. government and the U.S. government corporations and all major corporations. This is a plan, or at least an attempt, to return value back to the people. And you can see the numbers that I'm referring to there. I believe that's in quadrillions of dollars through the treaty event, the UN Swissendo multinational treaty event that is being proposed at the UN even as we speak. Starting today, I believe it is, going through the next week. I'll be making this document available for you so you can take a look at it closer. I'm going to go through and point out a few things for you though as we go through it. Okay? You can see here the fixed rate of exchange for this value that's going to be coming out. This is a exchange rate of $2.25 for every $2 of this value that's going to be coming out. However, I will say, as you look at this document, you are going to see things that will make you question, just as I have, because I've had this document in my possession for approximately 30 days, and I have done the best that I can do in investigating into the organizations and the people that are involved in this rollout of these funds. And I will bring this information to you. I will ask you to use common sense, logic, try to help me, and try to help everyone come to understand exactly what is going on here. Now, my understanding is that they're going to roll this out worldwide, and that the country of Egypt have already accepted this. They've accepted it in the form of what's called a CVAC, which is basically the plan and the implementation of rolling out these funds that you're going to see here to all countries. Okay? I'll move on down here so you can see some more information. You can take this and read it. There's a lot of information here. One thing I'll point out here on this screen, or on this page, is that it is the intent of the White Spiritual Boy organization to return $6 million to each person on the planet. To return $6 million to each person, and a ATM gold card backed by gold, and this currency is going to be backed by gold. Gold, historical gold, King Solomon's gold, and it would be backed by that. That you will be issued a $1,200 ATM card if you were an adult. If you were a child, you will be issued a $600 a month silver card. In part 3 of this series, I'm going to go through and show you the different countries and the different amount of funding that is being put forward, because it's not just funding for each individual, it's funding for humanitarian projects such as free energy, free water, the ending of poverty, and so on. The list is very long. Come back and see part 3. I'll go through it some more. I know y'all guys are going to have a lot of questions.